Hello, welcome to the Inner Love Astrology podcast. We're your hosts, and I'm Heidi.
And I'm Jocelyn.
And today we are going to be talking about Aries, and we're going to be talking a little bit about the mythology of it, as well as like some of the traits that people born under when the sun is in the sign of Aries, and like some traits that they exhibit and how they correlate with the mythology of it. Sound good?
I mean, I think it's pretty interesting because I have never heard of this stuff before, and it's been really fun learning about it.
Right. I was super excited when I was like learning about the mythology of it. And because I like it, yeah, like you said, like I'd never heard of it. And so it was really interesting to see actually with this sign how it correlates with all the traits and stuff of it.
Definitely.
Yeah. All right. So let's get started with the mythology. So the Egyptians and Babylonians, they did astrology and had the signs and stuff kind of written down before the Greeks in the sense that we kind of know them. Um, Aries actually wasn't found in the original lists of the zodiacs from the Babylonians. They called this constellation the hired man or the hireling, but it was still represented by the ram. And this might have been because many like the livestock and all that stuff, like all those things were born during this time when the hireling was in the sky, which is the beginning of the northern hemisphere spring and the southern hemisphere fall. But Babylonia was in the northern hemisphere, so it was spring for them. And this is when men were hired to help during the springtime harvest and all the livestock things that they do during that time of the year. The Egyptians did have Aries on their list, which was also represented by the sheep or the ram. The Egyptian god Amun was often depicted with the head of a ram and was associated with the sun. So when the sun was in this sign, they believed that they had a lot more of the energy from the god Amun radiating down on them. But neither of these mythologies explain the constellation and how the ram ended up in the sky. So that comes from the Greek mythology. And contrary to popular belief, Aries has nothing to do with the Greek god Aries. It actually is the Latin word for ram. So that's where we get the name Aries and the correlation, again, between the ram. So in Greek mythology, Aries is associated with the legendary Golden Fleece and the tale of the heroic Argonauts. I'm going to be butchering some words, so bear with me. It all began when King Athamas, of Boeotia, married Nephel, something like that, who gave birth to their children, Phrixus and Hele. However, Athamas had later married a woman named Eno, who became jealous of the children and sought to eliminate them. Greek mythology is terrible sometimes, like makes me cringe. But to save the siblings from their evil stepmother's wicked plans, Nephele sent a mythological ram to what did it say? Sorry. With a golden fleece to carry them away. This golden ram was named Chrysolamus. And so Chrysolamus put them on their back and there's a dog. And soared into the sky and flew over the sea. And during their ride, Hele, the daughter, lost her grip and fell into the sea. Phrixus, on the other hand, though a little frantic that his sister fell into the sea, safely arrived at their destination of Colchis, where he sacrificed the ram and presented it to the king Aeetes, something, the king of Colchis. There's two different versions of how he did this. In one of the versions, the ram Chrysolamus died when his wool was sheared from him, and he was put into the sky to be honored for all time, for helping these children escape from their evil fate. And then in another version, the ram was immortal, so he survived the shearing, but he was still put into the sky to be honored. So there's always multiple stories of how these things happen in mythologies. Um, the ram itself, the way it became all magical and stuff, was born from Poseidon and a nymph named Theophane. Because Poseidon turned himself into a ram and Theophane into a ewe in order to hook up with her. And that was because he didn't want to have any competition with the other people that thought she was hot. So yeah, that's where we get a magical ram. And then one other thing to do with like the Greeks and the gods and mythology, wool of a ram was also heavily used for weaving. So they did associate her associate Aries sometimes with Athena, who is the goddess of weaving. So yeah, that's the mythology.
Definitely an interesting story. Okay. So now,
Yeah, it
due to
was.
the association between Aries and the ram, the traits of the one about March 20th to April 20th are also similar to a ram in nature, as we would know. And rams are known for their assertiveness, natural leadership qualities. Aries tend to have a quick wit and a big thirst for a challenge. They thrive on facing obstacles head on. They love that stuff. And while they may not always be the best team player, their determination and their willingness to really fight for the underdog makes them natural advocates for justice. So they can be known as, fighters. That's what they do.
Yeah.
Aries is also ruled by the fiery planet of Mars, which is a whole other topic we'll get into on another episode. But Aries, with that fiery energy, tends to want to break free from the opinions of others and their own fears and restraints. So they like to break out. They like to be the ones heading forward and doing their thing. So they have this raw and primal energy, and it fuels their survival instincts that drive them to protect themselves and their loved ones, like at all costs. They will do anything to fight for the underdog. It's the same energy that captivates us, like in action movies or stories, with like the
Yeah.
black justice.
Yeah, John Wick, Peaky Blinders, and Sons of Anarchy give me serious Aries vibes because we find ourselves like cheering for them, even though we know their actions are not good, but we still want them to win and get their justice because they were wronged. And, you know, people who are wrong deserve to have justice.
That's it. That's it. And Aries does have like super good, big strengths, but they're not without their challenges. Every sign has a shadow side. So this cardinal fire sign tends to have tendencies that it shares with Libra, which is its opposite. And those qualities can be a little bit of indecisiveness, maybe a tendency to procrastinate. They have to balance their desire for a peaceful existence, but the need to set boundaries, and that can pose some difficulties sometimes. But Aryans just have to remember to prioritize their well-being and be assertive enough to defend their boundaries. Aries are also super passionate people, and it's really important for them to moderate their intensity and avoid unnecessary drama. They have to recognize that not everyone can handle that natural vigor, and Aries has to learn to pick their battles. You can't fight every fight, and they have to understand that sometimes the victory is just in walking away.
Yeah, definitely. And on their soul path to like kind of tie in a little bit more into the mythology, Aries are when they're enlightened, they're spiritual warriors. So when they're embodying the high road of their sign, they have this heroic spirit that relates to the Argonauts from the story and their quest for the Golden Fleece. And in the story, just like with Aries individuals, they fight for love and they stand up against all odds and they passionately pursue that which is worthy. Um, Such as the mother wanting to save her children, and additionally like with her loyalty to her kids, because oftentimes in mythology, kids don't matter as much as they do in modern day society. So she has this unwavering loyalty and courage to feel like her energy and uh and wanting to save her children. This is also tied to their self-respect, and they value courage as a core principle, and they also understand that it's okay to be afraid as long as they have the determination to face their fears and move forward on their soul's journey. Again, just kind of like the mythology and the story of the kids and their mother.
Yeah. Uh, Aries really do. They have a really good ability to adapt under pressure and maintain a level head even in the most challenging situations. Aries are actually the friends you can always count on. They're very honest, very direct. They expect the same level of authenticity from others though, so don't fall short with them. And Reese Witherspoon was actually an Aries herself, and she was once quoted to say, "Life is too short to spend my time with anybody who doesn't appreciate me, treat me with respect, or bring value to the relationship," which is a
I love
super
her.
Aries thing to say.
Yes, I love her. Legally Blonde was my introduction to her, and for the longest time, I wanted to be a lawyer with high heel pink shoes or pink high heel shoes, and like click, click, click into the law room. Oh my goodness, the courtroom.
Yeah, it was such a good movie.
Yes. Oh my goodness. Um, So, from the mythological ram that carried Phrixus to safety to the symbol of the golden fleece, Aries embodies the essence of bravery, adventure, and the pursuit of greatness. The spirit of the ram courses through the veins of those who are born under this sign and guides them to embrace the challenges, to take risks, and to forge their own path despite any judgments from others and, doing their own thing.
I love it. I love it. And I think that wraps up our exploration into Aries. I think we've dove into everything we wanted to say.
Yes, yes. Yeah, they're definitely pioneers, and they, courageous, and they light their own path so that way like others can follow. They're the trailblazers, they're awesome. I love Aries. Everyone has their pros and cons, and I do feel like Aries kind of gets a bad rap for being, hot-headed and, yeah,
Bossy.
just yeah, exactly. But, those can be good traits too. They go after the things that they want, and nothing's gonna stop them. Nothing. Nothing. So
Yeah, I think
yeah,
it's definitely a good quality to have. I think everybody
yeah,
needs an Aries friend.
yeah. I definitely need to embody my Aries a lot more. And we will get into why I need to do that when we talk about aspects and stuff like that later on, because it's in my chart specifically that I need to embody my Aries
So,
and my first house, which is ruled by Aries. Again, a topic for another episode. Um, so yeah, be sure to tune in next time when we talk about Taurus. Um, and to follow us on Instagram at innerloveastrology.com. We will be posting blogs and stuff like that about the signs, the planets, and stuff at innerloveastrology.com, where you can also book readings with us. And to support us on a monthly basis, we have a Patreon at patreon.com or not patreon.com, at patreon.com/innerloveastrology. We have all sorts of little tiers there where you can get readings and get some cool goodies per month and stuff. So we are very excited for all of this.
yeah, lots of good stuff. I'm excited.
Yes. Alrighty. So yeah, have an awesome week. We will see you guys in 2 weeks again with Taurus, our
Yay,
first earth sign.
I'm looking forward
Alrighty.
to it.
Yes, me too.